John was always down for an adventure. So when John and I flew to Colombia out of Seattle, I had a feeling that we were running a little late. I was like, "Are we good, bro?" He's like, "Yeah." But then we ended up having to home alone at the airport. The security line was like 2 hours. I thought we had no chance. But of course, John pulled his wizardry and we got through security in like 5 minutes. They did have an issue with his laptop bag, so they had to stop him. He told me to run to the gate to hold it. Just as I got there, they were like, "Miami, Miami." I was like, "Yep." They're like, "Last one." I was like, "Nope, my buddy's right behind me," which he wasn't. I knew he was a bit behind, but I was like, "Oh, he's right there. He's right there." We did that for about 5 minutes. I even called him. John said the same. "I'm right around the corner. I'm right here." And we ended up stalling him. We were successful, and we did make that flight together. When he got there, he's like, "My bad, dude. You know I'd be living on the edge." And then he sent me this picture. I love you, John. You are the best, dude.
John and I met at Dimmitt Middle School. We had gym together, and his way of getting my attention was to trip me while I was running. I was so irritated. Then he proceeded to make fun of me about how I fell in slow motion. From that day on, we have always been friends. We have the same birthday, May 15th. He's even bought Girl Scout cookies for my daughter.
John was one of my very first friends. I think we were like 6 years old or so in class together. And I remember we were always really friendly, but when I first got glasses, one day at lunch, someone tried to pick on me for the way that I was trying to clean my glasses. And he stepped in and put a stop to it. And from that day on, he was always there like a big brother to me.
The adventures of Lil Jon and Young Dro began in the 1900s when we were 12 years old in PE class playing basketball. Lanky Loke was extra lanky back then, and he was driving up for a layup. I was in the process of setting the pick, had my legs a little extra wide, and accidentally tripped him. Everyone was laughing around him. I went to go help him up. He came up swinging, socked me in my chest a couple of times, and I didn't escalate it beyond that. I understood the principle. I tripped him. He, it hurt his pride a little bit. He came up swinging, got his little win, and I was like, okay, cool, we're good, we're solid, respect established. And it's funny because moving forward throughout our entire lifetime relationship, that was kind of the role that was always played. Whenever John would see me tripping, he wouldn't hesitate to set me straight, and I never took it personal. Whenever I make a song in the studio, I'd send it to him first and then get his critique and feedback before I go back in, go do version 2. And that's just how our relationship has always been. It's just funny how those first impressions and will impact your relationships throughout a lifetime. But love you, John.
John, definitely gonna miss you, brother, man. I remember the first time I met you, our first interaction, when you heard my name, Tabark was like, "Hey, man, this is Hector." And you were like, "Hector? Man, Hector."
That's why I've been like Hector.
It felt like you were challenging me to see how I would react. And I just started cracking up. And I was like, "Yeah, man, Hector." And then, man, we were brothers ever since. So.
One of John's superpowers was that he could pretty much talk people into anything. For example, in 2006, we went to visit him in Pullman. We snuck in the Apple Cup, had hella fun, got hella drunk, and then afterwards get back to the house and everybody's cussing him out. So he gets to me and he's like, Drea, the Nintendo Wii comes out tomorrow. Don't you want to camp outside with me overnight to get it? It'll be fun, guy. Come on, please. And I was like, no, it's freezing. But then he wore me down because he didn't want to do it by himself. So fast forward, and we're the only 2 black people out there with a bunch of strangers on the concrete, risking hypothermia in 19-degree weather with just a sleeping bag. And we were cracking jokes all night, rapping Mac Dre, having hella fun. And I'm going to miss my friend, and I love him. And we got the Wii's.
John and I had so many inside jokes, from being called Fug to Who Your Name to Pillow to Paper Bag. Squeegee is my favorite one, and let me tell you why. So we went out one night, I think it was Pioneer Square, had lots of fun, and then on the way home we had to pull aside to get some gas. I remember John hopping out of the car as well. I was standing there, I closed my eyes for a second, and I remember feeling like this fresh cleanse across my face, and I said, what is this water that I feel? Opened my eyes, and there he was with the squeegee. He totally swiped it across my face, talking about squeegee, and we started cracking up. So ever since then, he calls me squeegee, and I'll never forget that moment.
One of my good memories that I will always forever hold with John. As we moved forward and he was traveling, I just remember I used to say, when did John go over there? When did he start, staying over there? And it was Thailand. And then he went to Korea, right? And I loved how he told us and explored about over there. He always said, you know what, you guys need to get out. You guys need to explore. There's so many beautiful places, so many beautiful cultures to experience. And he showed us. I always looked forward to his stories because he showed us that it's okay to be free and love what you do. And that's what he did. He is an angel. You know what I mean? He loved being where he was, and he just wanted to share his love everywhere. That man has a heart of gold, and we will definitely miss him.
One of my favorite memories with Jonathan was when our 6th grade class decided to take a field trip to Victoria. And I did not know that I would become motion sickness from being on a boat. And I vomited profusely the entire way there. And that was very unladylike, not very attractive, might I add. And Jonathan took care of me the entire time. And we laughed about it recently. So I'm just so thankful for those memories with him. And
so, the story I want to tell about my boy Gant, Havid, when we met, we were walking back to the dorms from separate places, but we stumbled upon each other, maybe literally, and he had a giant frat can of chili, not like the family size, but like this thing was huge, dog. Like he was limping, and I saw him, and I was like, "Man, what are you doing, bro?" And he was like, "I'm trying to go eat some of this chili," and I was like, "All right," and he was like, "You want to eat some of this chili too?" And I was like, yeah, let's go eat some chili, dog. And we both went back to the same Stevenson dorm. And that kind of started it all off. And there really wasn't any stop since then. We lived in the same apartment complex. We Harvard, we Maplewood. But the only thing is it was always Gouda.
One thing about John, he always pushed me to get my passport. He was always like, Meech, you gotta see the world, fam. You gotta travel. There's so many opportunities. And I was just like, okay. But when I finally did get my passport, he was the first person I thought of, and I could not wait to tell him. And when I told him, he was just like, oh, snap, we about to get. He just wanted more than what was in front of me here in Seattle. He was always encouraging, and that's just what he embodied. He cared about everyone. I will truly miss his fearless spirit.
I've known John since 6th grade. Our birthdays are 2 days apart. Last names are similar. I have an R, though. Those have been our running jokes for the entire time we've known each other. He's been my partner in crime with playing the RHS alumni parties. He's a reason why y'all had open bar. He was always, Katoy, we got to have open bar, dog. We got to have open bar. I remember in Christmas in high school, I bought him a Master P doll. Then when you squeeze it, it goes, And I was impressed he still has that doll. That's how much he loved it. But I want people to remember that he is flying high right now, doing all the things that he wanted to and exploring. And I just ask that people keep lifting up his name so the world can always remember John Gant.